there's a pitfall that I see with Advaita, the teachings of non-duality. It's sort of like Hinduism's version of Buddhism. And there are a ton of very popular Advaita teachers out there right now. I was first introduced to it back in the early 90s when someone gave me the book I Am That by Nisargadatta Maharaj. And I used to sit there in my kitchen smoking cigarettes and reading it, and I would find that something really weird happened with time when I read this book, that I would go into some altered state that I didn't even understand and maybe still don't know how to name it. Subsequent to that, I had many insights and revelations that came to me through the application, I guess you could say, of the teachings of non-dualism. I've been using that as a path. I have a teacher who is an Advaita teacher. And yet, having said all of that, I think there is a pitfall to Advaita that a lot of people get stuck in. And that is the idea that Advaita is really just about deconstructing our conceptual framework of naming things as I and thou, me and everything else. That we do have this mental conceptual framework of identity we call the ego, and the idea is that we just deconstruct that mental conceptual structure, and that's what Advaita gives us, and that's what it's all about. But that's really not what it's all about. It's deconstructing the mental framework doesn't necessarily put us into the state of being that is our truer nature. Getting rid of ideas doesn't necessarily give us enlightenment or revelation or direct, earth-shattering, living insight into what we truly are and what reality truly is. It's not about getting rid of ideas. I mean, that can be a very important part of the path. We use ideas to get rid of other ideas, sort of like using a thorn to get rid of another thorn that's stuck in us. But ultimately, when we use the thorn to get rid of another thorn, once we've gotten rid of that thorn, we throw both of them away, right? Because that's not really what it's about. It's not about replacing one thorn with another thorn. Our goal isn't a better thorn or even a deconstructed thorn. The result of Advaita is an earth-shattering experience that is not at all about the human mind or the human body. It's not a human-centric experience. The human body-mind will not even be present in a really immersive experience of the goal of Advaita. The goal of Advaita is beyond experience, and it's actually beyond states. It's beyond form. It's not about getting our mind to be different. Our mind can be exactly the same, and we still live in this experience of the living presence of this non-dual state. So if we've never experienced that, then we haven't really discovered yet what Advaita is pointing us to. And we're probably going to kind of play around in the mind with ideas and think that that's what it is. But it's not. That's not at all what it is. Advaita is also, Advaita is really just a pointer, right, towards a reality. And that reality is also not like psychedelic experience, in my perspective anyway. I've taken a lot of LSD over the years. I stopped taking it decades ago, and occasionally here and there. Tried it again and was just like, yeah, no, this just doesn't really do much for me anymore. I've done microdosing of LSD. I've done a lot of mushrooms back in the day and tried microdosing it again more recently. And again, I don't really like those psychedelics. I feel like it just creates ripples in the mind more than it reveals deeper reality to me. I have had experience of oneness on mushrooms when I was a teenager, before I left home, went to India. I didn't even know what I was experiencing until looking back at it later and go, oh yeah, I was looking around at nature and I was feeling the oneness and perceiving the oneness of all things, energy moving through plants and animals and myself and experiencing that all things are interconnected in this energy of life and awareness. Like even little plants seemed aware to me. I was down on the ground looking at little tiny plants and perceiving energy moving up and down and feeling a oneness with them, but I didn't even know I wouldn't even have known to use the word oneness to describe the experience. It was just the experience without any concepts about it, right? So psychedelics do have that ability, but most of my psychedelic trips have been like someone just throwing a brick into the pond of my mind and all these ripples and waves and colors and unusual thoughts and stuff resulted, but not any transcendent revelation. So I really just want to say here, I guess everything I'm trying to say here is that there is such a thing as transcendent, ego, human transcendent revelation. And a revelation is not just another idea, another philosophy. It's not a feeling that comes up and passes. A revelation is like this startling moment where you are outside of this body, mind, ego vessel, and you're perceiving another reality, but not as a spectator. You actually are this other reality. You're experiencing yourself as a vast, seemingly limitless field of blissful consciousness that interpenetrates all things, or you're experiencing yourself as an indestructible perfection beyond form that is blissful and aware. These have nothing to do with human states. It's not about deconstructing concepts. It's not. Does that make any sense? It's much closer to what people report in near-death experiences than it is just having an intellectual deconstruction, which intellectual deconstruction, again, is not without its value. But if we are thinking that that's what Advaita gives us, that that's what it's pointing to, that that's all it has for us, then we're still on the diving board, my friends. We haven't jumped off yet. There is so much more to what Advaita is teaching us than that. I have no confidence whatsoever that I really made my point in a clear and understandable way, but I guess I will leave it there for now.